watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Hello and welcome to Memphis-Shelby County Schools Report. We're coming to you from the studio of Germantown High School Television on the campus of Germantown High School. I'm Calvin Nicholson. There's been a lot of news surrounding the district lately. Between the audit, the potential state takeover, and the superintendent's promotion being tabled, then reinstated. It's been a lot. Here to help us make sense of all of it is a very special guest, MSCS Superintendent Dr. Roderick Richmond. Thank you for joining me, Dr. Richmond.
Thank you, Calvin, for inviting me. It's always a pleasure to see you.
Let's jump right into it. How does it feel to finally be named the superintendent after all the back and forth in February and earlier last month?
It feels great. This is my dream job. I've always wanted to have an opportunity to lead the very district that produced me. So to answer your question, I'm elated. I feel honored and privileged, and I just thank God for this opportunity.
Now, let's get into it. People want to know, were you blindsided by the board going back on your contract as the public was?
I don't feel like the board went back on my contract. When I look at what happened, sometimes people don't really understand what's going on in the background as it relates to negotiating contracts or working through and fine-tuning things that may have to do with contracts. So what the board did was initially they let the public know that they wanted me as the permanent superintendent. And then we were undergoing what you would call contract negotiations. But also when you look at board members, all of them have different perspectives. And one of the most important things a board can do is to select a superintendent. So I wasn't really bothered by the board's stance on asking for more time, wanting to think through some of the things surrounding my contract, and just wanted to make the right decision for this community.
So I must ask, what does this mean for MSCS long term now?
Well, what it means to MSCS, in my opinion, long term, is that we have a leader of our school district who can be here at least the next 3 to 4 years so that we can stabilize our district and we can have continuity. As I go back and forth to Nashville and I talk to legislators, one of the main concerns that they've had is the turnover in the superintendent's role. And so I'm committed to this community and I'm committed to this district. So hopefully by having that contract and a permanent superintendent in place, we can move forward with making our district the #1 urban district in the country.
You talked about stabilizing the district. How did you keep the stability during the uncertain time period?
How did I keep it? One way that I kept it was working closely with what we now call our team of 10, our board members, so focusing on what you call governance and board relationships. So building a really, really solid relationship with our board members. And also another area I focused on was staff capacity, being able to work with and through the leaders who are part of my team, and taking that group of leaders and us being able to look at what did we really need to focus on in order for us to stabilize our district, to rebuild trust, and to provide the continuity necessary in order to move our district forward and to focus on student achievement.
We have to talk about the audit.
Yeah.
That's the big ticket right now. What was the biggest takeaways for the MSCS?
The biggest takeaways are things that we kind of have already known. What I'd like to just kind of share with you as well as the general public, what we are looking at currently is what's called an interim forensic audit. This audit isn't finalized. So what's in the audit now are what you would call observations and recommendations. And so observations and recommendations are just that. There hasn't been any major findings. Much of what they've talked about in relationship to internal controls are things that we've been working on, fine-tuning some of our processes, looking at what our standard operating processes are, ensuring that we're following policy as it relates to those things and statutes, make sure that our board, along with myself and the team, are governing appropriately, and I think we're doing a great job of that. What we'll be waiting on would be the final audit, and in that final audit, they'll have what's called findings. But even before the findings, what we haven't had an opportunity to do, which we will eventually, is to respond to the observations and recommendations. And so what I would tell the general public is, normally an interim audit is not shared externally. Normally it's only shared internally so that administration can have an opportunity to respond. And so we haven't had an opportunity to respond. So I would just say, hey, right now we don't want to draw any premature conclusions. Right now we don't want to respond to what you would call hyperbole. We want to always deal in facts. And so when the time comes, we'll do that. We appreciate, I'm grateful for the audit because it allows us to, again, make our district one of the #1 urban districts in the country. And part of that is ensuring that you have standard operating procedures, you have internal controls in place, and we're being good stewards of the resources of our community.
In the media, MSCS has blamed past superintendents for the misappropriation of funds. I want to know, how are we able to blame past superintendents for the misappropriation of funds if the board approves the funding that the superintendents have access to?
So I believe that, again, that's hyperbole. I don't think we blamed any superintendent or former leader for any misappropriation of funds. You have, again, standard operating procedures. You also have internal controls. And when you're leading a district of 14,000 plus employees, you have processes that you need to follow. And when you don't follow those processes, what you have to understand is, as a leader, there's both intended and unintended consequences of every decision you make. And so I think what you may be getting at, and what maybe the media has mentioned, which again isn't a knock on any leader, it's about the decisions we make and what are the intended and unintended consequences of those decisions. And one thing about being a leader, I'd like to use the analogy of a quarterback. I'm a former quarterback, and what the quarterback has to understand is what everybody's role and responsibility on the team is. The quarterback also has to be able to see the whole entire field. Part of being a leader requires you to do that. So when whomever the superintendent is, it's incumbent upon them to be able to see the entire field, and for them, at least to a certain extent, to know what everybody's role and responsibility is, along with how decisions affect those 14,000 employees, how those decisions impact 100,000 plus students, and how those decisions impact our entire community.
Dr. Richmond, we're going to take a quick break here and we'll be right back. We will take a quick break and we will continue our conversation with MSCS Superintendent Dr. Roderick Richmond.
You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Hello, and welcome to a new season of Red Devil Postgame, GHS-TV's 4-time national award-winning sports show.
So GHS-TV tries to model a real working station.
I really thought it was cool when I first started studio and all the opportunities that it was able to provide for me.
That would be 36 out of 36.
It's a rigorous class that demands a lot from students.
At times you are going to be thrown into the fire to where you're just going to have to figure it out yourself.
Which is really great because then we gain more knowledge. Our teachers will give us how to start, but then we're left to make up the whole entire process.
You are telling them what to do, not they.
They can be a producer, they can be a director, they can work graphics and learn audio. They can go out and shoot field reports.
Akila, back to you.
And it's a challenge to throw them into the environment and say, here's a camera, go out and record this interview and some B-roll. But those are the challenges that grow students to do bigger projects.
Welcome back to the Red Zone. I'm Darian Branch.
In GHS-TV, we have a variety of shows. We have Crosstalk.
Hello, and welcome to GHS-TV's award-winning talk show, Crosstalk.
We have Insider, which is all about Germantown.
Welcome to GHS Insider, the show that's all about the G.
Some things that I've learned from this class is that how to work as a team.
We learn how to communicate better with people.
Something I'll take with me from in the future is their slogan, check, double check, and check again.
There's so many different things you can do here. I would say take risks. Push yourself further than you think you can go, and we will help guide you there.
Go Red Devils!
For more information about the Kappa program, visit ghskappa.com or call 755-7775. You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Welcome back to Memphis-Shelby County Schools Report. I'm Calvin Nicholson. Let's continue our conversation with Superintendent Dr. Roderick Richmond. Dr. Richmond, since stepping into this leadership position, what is one measurable accomplishment that you can point to?
One measurable accomplishment that I think we can point to is that we've been able to stabilize the district. And when I say stabilize the district, we've had very little disruption as it relates to staffing. We've been able to recruit in some excellent staff members to our team. We've been able to stabilize schools as it relates to having an effective leader in most of our schools. We've also been able to reduce our staffing numbers. In the past, we've needed a lot of teachers. We've been able to cut that by almost 2/3. The board asked me for 3 things that I've been able to do that I'm proud of. They wanted us to deliver on an academic plan. So we have our first academic plan that we've had in probably a decade. They wanted me to deliver on a facilities plan, and so we delivered on a facilities plan. Over the past 15 months, we probably sold approximately 15 properties, and we revenue generated approximately right at $30 million that we're now able to put back into schools. We've also developed a scorecard, and that scorecard is a way for us to hold all of our employees from the superintendent on down even to our students accountable for helping to improve our district and to make our district the #1 urban district in the country.
What's something that you feel hasn't improved fast enough under your leadership?
Well, what I want to improve extremely fast would really be student achievement. But I realize I have to be patient. I know teachers and leaders have to be patient. Many times school districts are judged based on student proficiency. We do a great job as a district. We're probably one of the best in the country in helping our students grow. But we want to increase our student proficiency, and sometimes people want things like that to happen overnight. Those are things that we may have to ask our larger community to be patient around. But if it was one thing that I wish I could just kind of wave a magic wand and fix overnight, it would be student proficiency. But I also would like to improve how people see our district. Sometimes I don't know if people really realize that our district is really a jewel. And I want to help to change that perception because I think sometimes people are extremely hard on our district. I think sometimes people compare our districts to districts that may not be apples to apples. They may more or less be apples to oranges because of the myriad of challenges that some of our students may bring, some of the challenging communities that they're growing up in. If you compare our district to other similar districts, not here in Tennessee, but other similar urban districts, I think people will see that we have a great school district. We have a great city. So the other thing would be just kind of improving the perspective, how people perceive our district. I think that's important. It's important to students like you. It's important for when people look in the mirror, what you want to see is something positive. You don't want to constantly be reminded of something negative. So to improve the perception and to improve our proficiency rates.
Your plan to greatness, focusing on the 5 A's. How is that showing results so far?
It's showing great results. Again, when I think about how our students, we did exceptionally well. Last year, we are an advancing district. We were a level 5 district. Over a third of our schools improved. When I look at attendance currently right now, our attendance is improving. Our chronic absenteeism rates are down. Our attendance is up. When I look at attitude, our discipline incidences are down. And so we're taking a proactive approach around that. When I think of the arts, our students are doing great things. When I think about the side-by-sides that we're having with the Memphis Symphony Orchestra, when I look at all of our bands across the district marching in parades, we had approximately 5 of our schools to go to the Mardi Gras and to bring back awards. I think we're doing a great job with the arts. When I look at athletics, I'm reminded of the Southwind Germantown game and how students wanted so badly to be a part of that they were jumping the fence. Some people saw that as a negative, but I saw that as a positive. I saw it as students really wanting to be involved in what's taking place within our district. When I think about those 2 schools performing and making a good run into the playoffs, when I think about our basketball teams, we're now in track season, and baseball season with our spring sports. When I think about our district as a whole in the 5 A's, I haven't been disappointed.
So I do have to ask, which one of the 5 A's have been the hardest to implement?
Well, I think probably one of the hardest would be attitude. Attitude is the hardest because you have what's 2 trains of thought. You have technical and adaptive. I'll use high blood pressure for an example. If you have high blood pressure, a way to treat it technically would be to take a pill. But when you think about high blood pressure and the adaptive work to really address high blood pressure would be changing your lifestyle. So when you think about student behavior, social emotional competence, some students and some people, because of adverse childhood experiences and or traumas, they may have certain behaviors that people may expect for them to change overnight, that they may not be able to change overnight. It may take working with a counselor, or working with a social worker or a psychologist to address those things. So the things that are most difficult is the social emotional learning and helping to change both behavior and mindset. Just like when I talked to you earlier about the perception of our district, how do we change that? And I think we change that by speaking positive words and deeds, focusing on mental health, because sometimes when all we can think about is negative things and framing things in a negative way, we can't see the positive. We can't see the glass half full versus the glass being half empty.
Now that you've been named the permanent superintendent of MSCS, how should the community and why should the community trust your leadership moving forward?
Well, I believe in people's words and deeds matching. I can't demand anybody to trust or believe in me. All of those things are choices. But what I do know is if and when leaders allow their words and deeds to match each other, when people see you focusing on the work in and of itself speaks for itself. So what I've told my team to do and what I've tried to do throughout my tenure as the superintendent is to focus on the work, to do what's called drown out the noise. You're always going to have naysayers. You're always going to have dissenters. You're always going to have people who are going to second guess you. But at the end of the day, allow the work to speak for itself. I don't believe that any individual is larger than the institution. So whomever is in the seat of the superintendent has to be able to work with and through people. There's never going to be one individual who can impact this whole entire system that we call Memphis-Shelby County Schools. But I believe if you have the right leader, that person can bring everyone together so that collectively we can impact our city and our community and all of our schools and neighborhoods.
Thank you, Dr. Richmond. It's been a pleasure talking to you today.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure talking to you, Calvin. Keep going, brother. Keep going.
I hope you've enjoyed Memphis-Shelby County Schools Report. If you would like to learn more about MSCS, visit us on our website at scsk12.org. On behalf of everyone here at Germantown High School Television and Memphis-Shelby County Schools, thank you for watching today's program.